One of the hardest fights of your life is going to be the fight for your kids in child custody. And most fathers I know who are fighting for their kids, especially if they're being alienated, false allegations, all these different things, they're willing to give up their life for the safety and the relationship with their kids. So I want you to win it, and I want you to listen up. So what I want to talk about here is how we combat parental alienation. It's really difficult, and it's kind of like narcissistic abuse. You can't really bring it up in court because most courts don't have a precedent for it. Even though we hear about it online, even though in our arguments with our family and so on, it works as a definition. So we need to work our case in the best way. Now, oftentimes a GAL, a friend of the court, CPS, any of these third parties helped divide your family and create the alienation, but we're going to need that witness testimony to get it back. So if we're in super high conflict and our kids are being taken away from us due to temporary protective orders and so on, we're going to need that in order to move forward. And if you want to get the good evidence, like things like psychological evaluations and so on, you probably need a GAL to recommend it. So how do we do that if they're against you? This is where we need to start thinking of what is the process. How do we talk to these people? What is their protocol? What's their procedure? And how, if we're on a bad foot with them, how do we win them back? And I know this sounds horrible. It sounds unfair. They're the people that screwed you over. But I'm telling you, this is the process and the rules of the game that you need to learn. And where this comes from, if you haven't heard me say it before, please watch my other videos. Watch my pinned TikTok videos for long format that breaks this down, or go to my YouTube. But this comes from my group, which is sadly the only group of men that has lasted for over a decade that only deals with high conflict cases where men win. Meaning every single day we have men who've won hardcore, starting out only in the highest of conflict cases, fighting them, winning them, beating them in real time. And not just for 10 years, but almost 20 years now.